which identifies they have an index where they say the preference index as a destination for IT to set up in IT investments, ventures. So we were ranked among the first 50. We were coming down in that ranking. I mean, that is basically increasing our position. We are now currently, as of today, stands at I believe 16th position in the global index, which is very interesting. And those are reports which are used by the international community. I mean, that is taken as a clear indication that the country Sri Lanka is recognized as a destination for investment and building business.
What was the source? The report you said it was
A.T. Kearney.
A.T. Kearney.
It's an international organization which do this annually or biannually. It's basically says the preference. They look at the country's position or various there is the criteria for them to do that.
And also, what are the incentives given by the BOI and the government to maybe possibly establish ventures, and especially joint ventures as well, where the joint venture can be with a local party where they can establish this kind of ventures?
I wouldn't want to comment in very specific terms what incentives what have been given by the BOI or the government, but I am very clearly stating that the government, as I said earlier, in the recent past has included IT into the President's mandate and the government's mandate. So that basically clearly defines what is required will be given. Like, there haven't been any case, except if somebody go and say, look here, take off a tax completely, which I don't think it is fair to say, remove a tax completely, but unless you provide, there have been cases where you show the government the certain taxes create difficulties and actually it has a negative impact, then the government listens. So again, I would say the required incentives will be given and has been given to a certain degree wherever necessary to build and develop the IT industry. I think that has been the mandate by the President himself. So that's very interesting.
And Mr. De Silva, like if you also look at the IT industry and positioning ourselves globally, what can you tell about open source? Because open source software is also a very hot topic that they say is maybe underutilized, the opportunity. If you can explain what actually open source is and whether there's an opportunity because of open source that Sri Lanka can exploit.
Well, it's a very broad subject to discuss, but if I get your question clear, that's you're saying, can we use open source to go to outside world?
Yes, as a strategic method.
In fact, Sri Lanka is a very heavy player in the open source community. Open source community works. They are a international network. The people develop and support the development of products from their destinations, maybe within the universities, maybe wherever they are. So Sri Lanka has an open source forum, and open source great user of open source products also. And when it comes to certain businesses, there are certain psychological limitations where people wouldn't want to go for open source products in all scales, but there are well accepted open source products which are even used commercially. So it is, when you say free and open source, it is not absolutely free or zero. The product comes zero, but the services, there is a price attached, so the services are there. So it's as you rightly said, this service component can be used to make revenue, to bring revenue to the country. We don't have numbers today to say, like, as I said, we have, set, 1 billion or, all these in terms of revenue earners, but we have not taken a separate statistic for how much out of it is falling under open source. But certainly open source, yes, it is one of the revenue earners if you use it in that direction.
Right, Mr. De Silva. Now, I think we spoke about many aspects of the IT industry, so to say, that is making it a revenue earner. That is, it's already the 5th largest revenue earner, forex earner for Sri Lanka, but actually increasing its potential and taking it to the $1 billion mark by, say, 2015, and also increasing the IT experts and the resource pool to again another 150,000 from a possible 40,000. Then we also touched on the rural connectivity and how important it is to take it to the rural areas. Then in terms of business process outsourcing, how important it is to have establishments in Sri Lanka where they can actually come up with the local application development and also situate offices regionally, and similarly where other countries can establish their development centers in Sri Lanka, where government also has given incentives. So this is basically an IT industry in the nutshell. So how can you say that this discussion, what we discussed up to now, will add value to the economy, that is in terms of economic growth, then quality of life and opportunities?
Well, as I said, the economic growth, when you say economic growth, it has to clearly have a financial impact at the end of it, right? So the IT business, BPO export business today is estimated to stand at about 275 million US, which as the growth plans for 1 billion is definitely economic growth in terms of rupees and cents or terms of US dollars. So that basically creates employment. When I say 100 to 150,000 people, it's not a small amount. It creates employment. So that basically is the look forward to economic growth. So that everything evolves around that. But as I said, the foreign exchange won't come. We have to build the community here, and the literacy has to be built. That is one of the key objectives of the Federation. As I say, you may be aware of the Infotel exhibition. Is the key IT exhibition of the country today, which is the flagship exhibition of the Federation of IT industry, that is FITIS. FITIS conducts this Infotel exhibition every year, and also the small scales mini Infotels in rural areas, maybe 2 or 3 of such exhibitions again in every year. That is one of those, as I said earlier, was done in Jaffna. So those are the programs which we take to the rural community to say the IT industry is a growth industry, and it's one of the major trust industries in the country, to make people aware of it. That is the key to build the base in the country. Then you can go. Export business will happen. There are large players like Infosys or whoever the large international companies will come and set up here. But we have to set the base in the country. Then those will happen, not automatically but with effort. But still you have to have the base done here.
So when you talked about the large multinational companies like IBM and Infosys and coming up and setting up their companies in Sri Lanka, what sort of a spin-off effect will it have to the new entrepreneurs, new IT entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs, and also to the industry?
Well, as I said at the beginning, this the worldwide industry, IT BPO industry, is completely, in my numbers it was 50% untapped. So just because a larger company is going to come and set here, that will actually create employment here, and there will be investment coming in. So that is in no way threat to the small SMEs here. That basically has a positive effect on the SMEs, because they also can, there will be various business opportunity development because of the large organizations coming and setting up here. So it will never be a threat to the small SMEs, a larger company coming and set up here, because the business volume worldwide is so high. If we